Welcome to the Filmcast review of No Other Choice, the new movie by Park Chan-wook. I'm going to read the plot summary from IMDb. After being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job, eliminate his competition. Now, Devindra Hardawar, you and I have been huge Park Chan-wook fans for decades.
Yes.
Now, decades. I think I remember
he is
watching...
probably one of the reasons I fully fell in love with film, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I remember watching a very sketchy copy of Sympathy for Lady Vengeance way back in the day. I mean, like we're Old Boy. I have the Tartan Blu-ray release of Old Boy from way back in the day. You know, like we go all the way back. JSA and his early films as well. So a lot of interest in Park Chan-wook's latest, especially since it might be topical. Devindra Hardawar, what did you think of No Other Choice?
I talked about this before. I think this movie is incredible. Like it's an incredible. First of all, it's like just so entertaining and so fun and so well made. But it's also, I think, a really fun satire of how far the idea of like surviving and being successful within capitalism, within the framework of it, how far it will take you. It's a ton of fun, but also makes you think. A friend of mine mentioned that it's sort of like what would happen if Hank Hill lost his job at the propane place and like just had to like become the best and recenter his place. It's about how much our identities are tied to work, how much our value and our self-worth is tied to it as well. And how much like that it is like we are built around this society that's how we are defined even without our choice, really. Like this is just kind of the way you have to exist. It's so funny. It's so well made. And I just love watching a Park Chan-wook movie, even when it doesn't click for me. Like it is the craft involved, the filmmaking involved, the way he transitions between scenes and shots is just a lot of fun. Watching his movies feels like going on an amusement park ride. Like I just never know what I'm going to see and I'm always entertained. I think this one is a lot of fun. It is funnier than the last one that we saw. So, but I think like Decision to Leave, right? Yes. Which was also really well made and a lot of fun too. But that was less of a comedy. This one is more like a straight up sitcom at times, and it is just like really funny. It is also it's great to see like where he is right now, because I think early on as a filmmaker, like he was trying really hard to prove himself. I think a lot of his early work like lived in this like level of misery that maybe he was in. Like a lot of it could be described as like misery porn. I wasn't a huge fan of Mr. Vengeance, but like, it's interesting like where he is now and what he finds interesting and how he's using his voice. And he's just like a lot more loose, a lot more like relaxed as a director, but also still like cranking out incredible bangers. So I love this movie and I love this for him. I love that he is still like hitting it.
Jeff Kanata, your thoughts on No Other Choice?
Well, Dave, I guess you could say my thoughts on No Other Choice are best summed up in the form of a limerick.
Let's hear it, Jeff.
Myself as a pressure-strapped dad, I relate to the stresses he had. It lost me, though, with the lengths that he'll go. There's no joy in him breaking bad. I hate to keep bringing this up, but I feel like I had the reaction to this movie that you guys had to Marty Supreme.
Which we're done with Marty Supreme.
I know. I don't want to relitigate Marty Supreme, but I feel like I had a similar reaction where it's like, man, the filmmaking in this movie is amazing, as it was in Decision to Leave, as it was in The Handmaid's Tale, as it was in all of the
The Handmaiden, to be clear.
Excuse me.
The Handmaiden.
Handmaiden. Yes. Yeah. Pardon me. All of Park Chan-wook's films that I've seen so far, I'm just astounded by the visual inventiveness, like where to put a camera, how to shoot this, how to use the angle and the movement of the camera to help tell the story in ways that are not, I think, immediately obvious, that feel, even the way the movie is edited. There are sequences that are sort of out of sequence or disjointed or
the transitions, I think, are all
beautiful,
really excellent. Can I give an example, Jeff? Is that okay?
You may.
Is at the very beginning of the film, there's this beautiful moment when the main character is hugging his family, and it's like a lovely moment, and then literally transitions to everything washing down an industrial sink.
And most of them are these
cross dissolve into washing down a sink, and it's like, that's the whole movie right there, right? Like
most of them are these insanely intricate graphic matches. Where it's like the shape of that thing is also the shape of that other thing, and that is extraordinarily different. Like the house is the same shape as something. It's like, well, how do you even get to that?
And he wants you to like think about like, how are these things connected, and are they connected in some way? Do they just look alike? And you're thinking in a way that you're not thinking when you watch a normal movie. Right?
Amazing. There's a shot in the middle of the movie where the main character drinks from a bottle, and the camera is at the bottom of the bottle.
Yes.
And it lingers so long that you literally see his face as he drains the liquid, and he's still there. It framed perfectly. It's like, how many times did it take to just do that? It's extraordinary. And so the filmmaking is on another level, and I'm always astounded as we talk about Park Chan-wook movies. But I'm also always, I think, or at least the trend has been, as we've talked about his most recent films, is that I'm always sort of put off a little bit by the content, in that I think for me, and obviously this doesn't apply to everybody and certainly not you guys, but for me, I feel like it's just like one step too far sometimes, where it just kind of hits the nail on the head a little too hard. And I feel like this movie overstays its welcome a bit for me, as many of his movies do. Like, they're just a little over long, and a little, like, at a certain point, it's like, this movie should have ended like 20 minutes ago, and I would have come away from it feeling, I would have had to wrestle with how I feel, rather than the movie like continuing to go on and really put a punctuation on this that it didn't need. You know what I mean? And to my point about the sort of Marty Supreme of it all, like I had a hard time rooting for this guy at any point. Like, his solution to the problem is so extreme and so dark and so, I think, misplaced that, at a certain point, I'm just like, not down with this dude and his family. But I will say, Sun Yi Jin, who plays his wife, I think is the standout of this movie. Incredible. She is amazing. I loved her, but it bums me out that this movie kind of doesn't, well, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I think the end, I didn't love, and so much of it is so dark. And you're kind of asked to like understand, like, fundamentally, it's called No Other Choice, and I don't think he had no other choice. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely not.
Yeah,
but it's about like the pressures, like he feels like he owes.
I understand. But I'm just not down with it. I'm just not. At no point am I down with this dude's decision process, and I never feel like I'm inside his head. Or at least when I am, I just disagree with where his headspace is. And so it's harder for me to sort of be on board with this. And I kind of feel like that's what you guys were saying with Marty Supreme. And recognizing that I think the movie's extraordinary on a number of levels, and it's harrowing journey, and it's intense, and it's incredibly well made. So, I have a lot of positive things to say about it, but ultimately, like all of his movies so far, I just felt like, man, we just push me. I'm down with you, and you just kind of just push me over the cliff a little bit,
I have a few thoughts, and then we can move to spoilers. I love this movie. I put it as my number 4 or 5 of 2025. It was an incredible movie. Did you also put No Other Choice on your top 10? Yeah, it was on your list as well. Yeah. One of my favorite films of 2025. I think. First of all, by the way, just a quick note: No Other Choice is said by many characters at many points during the course of this film. There's no other, hey, we had to fire you. No other choice. we of course we have to automate everything, like no other choice. Like I have to do this, I have to do this, no other choice. It's like a constant refrain, at least in the subtitles. I don't know what it's like in the original Korean. So I just want to acknowledge that it's like multifaceted, the title. I love this movie because I think it captures a lot of the fundamental paradoxes of what it is to try to be a worker in this world. On the one hand, there is some joy and delight and something magical about being an expert at something. And I think, like, you see these guys, the way they talk about paper. Everyone in this movie is a paper employee and a paper expert.
It's a real Dunder Mifflin universe.
Yeah, Dunder Mifflin. I mean, like, it could be any. Like, there's nothing specifically about paper that is, but it's like it could be about any industry, pencils, whatever. Like, but the point is that they love their jobs. They are interested in paper.
It's like the dude in High to Low that loves ladies' shoes. You know,
you know your craft, and there is value in knowing
high and low.
Yeah. There's value in knowing your craft and the time and experience you put into it. Yeah,
right. And when they talk about it, it's with so much love and care, and there is something aspirational about it. There's something that actually legitimately feels good on a spiritual level, I would argue. Like, it's not just stuff that the job makes up. We're a big family. Here's pizzas on Fridays. Like, it's something that, like, oh, I can take pride in knowing a thing, in doing a thing well. There's something about the human condition that speaks to in a core way.
Hey, can I dig down on that for just 1 second? I don't want to interrupt you, but I do think that's a really powerful part of this movie, and it reminds me of stuff that we've talked about a lot on my other podcast, DLC, with regard to the video game industry and the mass layoffs that are happening and have been happening over the last 3 to 5 years in the video game industry. And it's this loss of institutional knowledge, this loss of accumulated experience. And I think this movie speaks to that in a really powerful way, as to what is actually lost when we move to automation, or you move, or you lay off large swaths of the workforce that have been there for years and decades, and that have built up this institutional expertise that may not be measurable, may not be something
it may not directly make line go up.
That's right.
Right. But there's something to it that is actually important. Part of the core of whatever this company does. Yeah. That's lost when you get rid of them, when it's automated away, and so on. Yeah. Jeff, did you? I texted you this article about dictionaries. Do you remember that? Did you get that article?
When was this?
This is. I was on vacation last week, and I texted you an article about dictionaries. Anyway, Jeff Kanata loves words.
I do.
And there was an article I texted Jeff about dictionaries and how they're going out of style. Like, they're going out of style. They're dying. There are,
you can't even buy them. You can't even. Don't get me on a rant. Well, I've been trying to buy one. Yeah.
But at one point, there were like hundreds of what are called like lexicographers or lexicographers in the country, and now there might be like 30 of them. Like in the whole country. It's like not the job of like knowing what words people use is no longer important anymore. And so there's many such cases of, like,
more than that. Sorry. I don't mean to interrupt again, but it's like you've triggered me, because the way dictionaries were written was an art form. And now a dictionary is just this hyperlinked collection of kind of bland, banal links to other words. And by the way, when I went to London with my family, my mission was to buy an old dictionary. That was what I stated. And I went into so many bookstores in London trying to find an old dictionary, could not find a good one. If you buy a like turn of the century, not the 21st, turn of the like the 20th century dictionary, or like early 20th century dictionary, they are beautiful works of art, incredibly beautiful, like poetic. The way definitions are written. Sorry to tangent, but it's something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just another example of a thing where we used to have this expertise, and then it became unprofitable, and now we don't have the expertise anymore, and then something is lost. Now, look, the new way might be better in a lot of ways. It might be more accessible. You don't need to go to the library and look things up in a book anymore. Like there are things that are a lot better about the way that things are currently, but something's lost. Okay, anyway, rewind. Way back to my original point, which is there's something about work that actually is meaningful beyond just the making of the money.
Yeah,
and also, in addition to what I just said, there is something about working in the 21st century that is uniquely dehumanizing, right? That takes away your humanity, that makes it so that it pits people against each other. It forces you to attach a lot of meaning to your work. And then so when you lose your job, you feel like you've lost your life's purpose, which should be silly, but it's not, right? It's kind of just the way things are. People feel like their value is attached to their state of employment in today's economy, and that is vividly depicted in No Other Choice. Is that like many of the characters in No Other Choice have lost their jobs, and it's like, wow, they're just struggling. They're driving their spouses mad with their
especially men,
especially men,
yeah,
who like
define
who like in these specific families historically have been the providers of their family, and so when they no longer have that role, they start to question what is their value in society, and they start to behave erratically. And I think this movie brings that out all very wonderfully. But you know, the core of the movie is about like this main character who decides that he needs to take extreme measures in order to be employed. And what is so great about this movie is that it kind of shows how much people are willing to sacrifice of their humanity in exchange for so little. Like what he's trying to achieve, he's not like, I want to make $5 million. Like he's not trying to do something that's like outrageously aspirational. He's just like, I just want a job,
be a mid-level manager
that's somewhat similar to what I had before. It can even be lower. Like I don't care. And the lengths to which he will go are taken to an extreme level that they are basically inhumane. And I think by being so over the top, it highlights how absurd and upsetting the modern workplace situation is. So
it's like the point of satire,
I love this
right?
movie,
Is to be a little overcranked. This
right.
reminds me a lot of like Falling Down. You know, we don't like fully idolize Michael Douglas's character in Falling Down, but we understand his frustrations, and you understand why somebody could be pushed to the brink to respond to that. And like you have complicated feelings about it because you understand where they're coming from. And that's how I kind of go into this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will just say I didn't feel myself rooting for this guy at any point.
Right.
I was invested to know what would happen to him, you know, but I think that's different than like wanting him to succeed in any way. I think what I felt, which is what I think the movie wanted me to feel, is sad that he felt like he had to take these measures, right? Like,
because people at some points mentioned to him and the other men, like, you could do something else. You could get another job. And I'm like, no, I put all my experience points in this, and this is what I'm going to do.
I put all my experience points. You know, I don't know how to do anything else, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of the rejoinder. But anyway, we have a lot more to talk about in spoilers. So let's talk about spoilers for No Other Choice starting right now. I want to say that the sequence when he confronts that guy with the gun in the oven mitt. Is
pulls off multiple
one
oven
of the
mitts.
Best sequences of 2025. Like just the entire sequence of he has the gun in the oven mitt. The guy has no idea why he's pointing an oven mitt at him. There's the
guy points his finger at him.
Yeah,
it's like a Mexican standoff.
He takes off the oven mitts and the other thing, and then there's a freaking, I think, like 80s Korean rock music playing in the background. The whole, the guys can't even hear or understand each other the whole time. And then this massive, messy fight ensues. It is a tour de force. By far my favorite thing out of the whole movie of how messy and out of control and ridiculous and funny and terrifying it is.
When he shoots that guy in his body, the way his body moves after he shoots the shot, it's so great.
It's an incredible sequence, and I just wanted to highlight it as like one of my favorite things. I mean, it's a really sad, upsetting movie. You know, Jeff, to your point, like it's a really sad, upsetting movie. I think like for example, I think if I'm reacting to if I'm trying to like see what your reaction, Jeff, is like when he goes to the shoe salesman guy. It's like,
Yeah.
Did you have to make the shoe salesman guy like kind of that
so
sad?
So relatable, yeah,
right?
so
Like,
sad.
Oh man,
it's like
Yeah.
it's so tragic. You know, that guy's dead because all he has a child.
Yeah,
he's just trying to sell some shoes, trying to make some, and of course he dies horribly.
Yeah.
And
and it's awful. It's so awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like,
it's awful.
But the thing that broke my heart more, I think, than any of even of that is, and I understand the point of all this. I understand why what the movie is saying, but is the family getting on board with his wife?
His wife gets on board, right? Yeah.
The most compelling character in this film for me is the wife.
Yeah.
I related. I watched this movie through the eyes of the wife, and I thought she was amazing. The performance is awesome, and her sort of breaking bad with him, to me, is the most heartbreaking part. Is that she's willing to stand there and support it, knowing, like, unable to deny the lie, or accept the lie any further and deny the truth of what's happening.
Right.
It's
Well, I think it's this horrible thing that when you lose your job, you lose your dignity as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then by extension, his wife has lost a lot of her dignity as well. And then
That's
when you're reduced to that point, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to accept to get your dignity back? Right.
I mean, it's like, it's a beautiful, her giving up the tennis lessons, it's like, we don't need tennis lessons, but like, I understand as a husband just how awful that would feel. Like, and her sort of selflessness. But the scene to me that was the most difficult was lying to the son and being like, it was a pig. Remember when we had that that fun pig thing? Remember we had the whole cookout with the pig? That's what Dad was doing. They're just doing another fun pig cookout at 2:00 in the morning.
The pragmatism of that character, I think, is just really fascinating because it's like, she doesn't want to give up her life either, right? But immediately once she learns things are tough, she's like, okay, here's a budget. We're losing Netflix. We're losing all that stuff. The dog's out of here. Like it's very much like, she's selling a bit of herself too, but it does make me think about like, the lengths we go to just have a comfortable life, in modern society right now. It always involves sacrifice. I also think it's funny that, this guy's plan, Lee Byung-hun's plan, is not necessarily like a great one. We don't know if these other guys are really going to be better than him in interviews, but
I mean, that's the most unrealistic part of the movie, other than the killing, is that in reality, many things factor into whether somebody gets a job, right? I don't know how it is in South Korea, but like in America, I've done many interviews for corporations, and it's like, there's many different factors that go into whether someone gets hired. It's not just like, do they have the best resume?
Although maybe this is such a niche field. He's like, oh, I know exactly who's going to be interviewing for this.
Well, he rates the resumes. He's like A+, A.
Very
A-.
smart. Very well
he does it methodically, right?
I have friends who have been out of work for years, who have gone on hundreds of job interviews, and nothing amounts to it. So it's not only that it's tough to be without your job, it's also like in this market with companies automating and streamlining and pushing more things to AI or whatever, they're not hiring as much, not as many roles are available. There is a sense of desperation right now among the working class, and I think this movie captures it. Yes, I don't advocate going out and murdering your competition, but also we are so I don't know, strapped, like we're so in such a tough spot right now as a society. Is like, you can kind of understand why somebody who has been trying to do this for so long would just go to this insane route. Don't support it, but it's also, unfortunately, the crushing like maw of capitalism has pushed him to this point. It's sad.
I will say, Devindra, the movie could have done something with that, and what I mean by that is there is this open question of whether he's actually going to get the job at the end.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting potentially if he did all this and then he didn't get the job, right? And it's like it actually doesn't matter what you do. Like the movie could have been making this point about like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like you can't get the job anyway. But what the movie does instead is, and again, obviously we're in spoilers, he gets the job. Only it's a way worse job than what he had before. he's essentially overseeing the destruction of his entire field of expertise.
Yeah.
And there's a time limit on how long his job is going to last. And even that, he's like, yes, this is so.
Like, you did all of that for this empty.
Right. Love this. This is so amazing.
Victory. Yeah.
You know, guys, there is one moment in this film that is extremely similar to a moment in Train Dreams. So extremely minor spoiler for Train Dreams, but there's a moment at the beginning of this film where he has the idyllic suburban life. Like, he's doing the cookout.
Beautiful
his kids
house.
are hanging out.
Incredible
he's got
house.
the dogs.
Yeah.
And then he hugs his family and he's like, you know what I'm thinking? I have everything. And there's a moment in Train Dreams where the Train Dreams about this rail worker. And he goes home and he has a kid and his wife in this cabin in the middle of the woods, and it's beautiful. And there's this narration that happens in the movie that says, you know, and for a brief time, so and so was at peace with this world, and you know, it was the happiest. Looking back, it would be the happiest time of his life, and it made me realize, watching this movie and that movie that both came out in the last like 2 months, that like maybe that's all we can hope for in life, right? Is that like you get like a brief moment of happiness, and that's it, and it will never be that way again, you know. And like, because that is true in both films, where like the main character gets this brief sense of like, oh, this is so good, and then it's never that way again.
And I love the way it's shot in this movie too. It's like, it is so saccharine. It's like a Hallmark movie moment too. Like, he's really cranking it up, but it's also like, I would love to do this with my family at some point. Like, even if it's like a little much, it's
even
also
if
like,
literally everything that happens after that is hellish nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be nice to have that one thing, that one moment. Jeff, go ahead.
There's a psychological truth that I often think about way too often, that I'm sure you guys know, but you know, it is about how we as human beings rely on storytelling. In that, you know, you can tell someone, you know, they had 50 years of being insanely happy, and then the last years of their life were horrible, awful, terrible. Or you can have 50 years of awful, horrible, terrible, but the last years of their life were absolute bliss. And people will believe that the latter is better. It's just a reordering of events.
Yeah.
It's not about quantity of how long you had that was joyful and perfect and blissful. It's literally the order of the events that we as humans value most. And I find that like, this guy, you're right to point out, like, he had it. It's just he didn't have it at the end, you know? And that's
he had a shittier version of it at the end.
Well, I'm not saying, you know, I'm just saying that the order of events was such that it's not palatable to us as humans. We want the ending of our lives to be the blissful part, and it doesn't matter what happened before, which is so crazy. You should as humans value amount of time spent in bliss, right? Amount of time where things were positive over just the order of events, but that's not how we work. It's pretty interesting.
I think it's because we like to think of things as narratives and stories, right?
That's
like,
right.
We like to conceive of our lives or other people's lives as a cohesive whole,
right?
When in fact, it's much messier.
Absolutely arbitrary thing to impose on it. You know,
like trajectory is somehow more important than total amount of time spent in bliss and what have you. It's an interesting phenomenon, but I'm trying to think of like the thing. Here's the thing about this movie: there's so many wonderful moments, but it's really hard to actually describe them. You know, like
in this movie.
In this movie, like for instance, there's that moment when he and his wife are talking in the room after they've gone to the costume party, which is like very funny. The whole
costume party, also great scene.
But
also
then he's like,
hilarious.
Then he says to his wife, "Do you know how hard it is to look somebody in the eye and do this?" And then he points a gun and pulls the trigger, and then the lights go on when he pulls the trigger. And then it's at that moment you realize his wife didn't see him like pull the trigger because otherwise that would be really weird. You know, like, but it's like you have to see it to understand how brilliant that moment. You know, there's so many moments that are like that where it's like describing it is really hard, but there's so many moments where it's just like, wow, the magic of film, you know, is in front of you. So yeah. Anyway,
I also love the two cops that are investigating everything and just like whiffing so hard on so many, but they're so close to putting the pieces together.
That feels like the subtext of every movie about Korean cops because they're notoriously terrible. Like Memories of Murder.
At least in Korean cinema. But yeah, I mean, it was like, hey, these two guys disappeared, and then he's like, yeah, I mean, I got so upset when they died. I heard they died, and he's like, we didn't say they died. We just said they disappeared. Like, interesting that you said that. Though.
Anyway, be careful because somebody's out there gunning for you.
Good times. All right. Any other thoughts on No Other Choice, guys? I thought it was wonderful. It's a must watch. In my opinion,
it's. I mean, it is a masterpiece of visual storytelling for sure. Yes.
I'm sorry, War. It's welcome for you. You're not the first person that said that, Jeff. I think a lot of people are like, "Boy, this went on for a long time."
I just feel like if it ended a little more ambiguously, it would have worked better for me. You know, and it's kind of what you were talking about like, oh, was let the audience kind of sit with it. I think more, and I think it just hammers its point a little too hard at the end, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Because the end is he gets like really crappy version of the job, right? That's the end of it. Like I found that to be a fairly satisfying ending.
So I mean, you can end at any point earlier and have a different reaction, like have a different response to the movie. But I think specifically what they did here is all this work for nothing, really. And then we also end with like, also, what are you doing here? Destruction of the environment. Like, what are we really fighting for here for this industry? Yeah.
I mean, I don't think paper is the biggest problem, but I agree. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. We need the trees. We do need trees.
Yeah.
More than ever.
But yeah, the idea that it's like such a crappy version of it and he's still overjoyed. That's a very
and also,
powerful idea. That's a very powerful idea.
We do get the fan, like they got the dogs back, and it's all copacetic at home. I don't know. I just felt.
But the thing is,
until
like, all that is until the next thing happens, and then and then what it is? What is it? Right? Then what's going to happen? Right? And
reminds me a bit of the end of The Shield, which we don't need to spoil here, but characters ending in purgatory is kind of fascinating to me because that is something we don't see very often. It's like, maybe you get a win, but it's not going to last. And that's interesting.
Oh, it's almost like the end of Marty Supreme.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
We can have that conversation, but I'm tired and talking about that movie.
All right. Well, anyway, those have been our thoughts on No Other Choice. And at the end of the day, it is really impressive that Park Chan-wook made a movie. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.